Friends, Brian here for Yes You Can Play Guitar, and as you guys know, we're covering a lot of different content here. We're doing a lot of Nightwish stuff. A lot of you wonderful Nightwish fans have joined me on Patreon for all the extras as I've gone to Nightwish school and I'm doing all my extra deep dives into this band. I did a reaction discussion the other day to a Tarje interview. You know, like, of course, Floor is amazing, but I want to kind of give everybody equal time and really spend time absorbing and learning everything about this band. And if there's one thing I like most of you guys and gals, in life, we like a happy ending. Get your minds out of the gutter. A lot of times what happens in bands, sometimes there can be some drama, fallouts. You got to remember, these people have to work together. They have to be around each other all the time on a tour bus. They can't get away from each other. We all need personal space. It's part of being human, right? So sometimes the success with a lot of these bands are the ones that can learn to get along and be around each other. You know, it's not always about having the most amazing musicians all the time, because you can have the most amazing musicians, but what if they can't get along? So I wanted to cover an important event in the somewhat history of Nightwish. Tarje was let go of the band, okay? And I know I'm kind of jumping all over the map a little bit. They had their issues with her. She had their issues with the band. There was a letter was publicly put out. I did a reaction. My first reaction to Nightwish was to a performance of Nemo, which was her last show with the band. She responded in kind, and stuff happens in bands, man. You know, it happens. But there's something really cool when people can kind of reconcile, sometimes even if they don't play in a band together anymore. I'm going to give you guys a couple of quick examples. The band Chimera, more of an American metal band from the 2000s. They're doing some reunion gigs. It's going very good. I've been fortunate enough to be in correspondence with Rob Arnold, the guitar player. Chimera's a band I've liked for a long time. Not just listening to as a fan and as a metal guy guitar player, but also in the gym. I love listening to their music. I had a great interview with Rob. We kind of keep in touch a couple of times a month. But you know, when that band, the lineup fell apart, they had their problems. But you know, after a few years, you know, the band carried on with new musicians, but they were able to, over the years, just say, hey man, they were able to just get back together and say, you know what, our friendship and our time together means something too. You know, another good example from the metal realms would be Alex Skolnick from Testament. You know, when he left the band at the end of '92, don't quote me exactly, you know, I think there was a lot of tension, a lot of stuff going on in the band. I have Alex's book. You know, it's an interesting read. But, you know, and then he was able to reunite with them in 2005 and stay with them, and things are better than ever with those guys. So we're all human. Things happen, miscommunications, frustrations, tensions. But Tarje and Marco have gotten back together and performed. So I know we're a little all over the map here. It's hard to do everything perfectly in chronological order, but I thought this would be cool to check out. Okay, so this is the Raskasta Jula Talukun Jula. Sorry, my Finnish isn't very good, but Tarje sings with Marco for the first time after leaving Nightwish. So I do know now that Marco had played bass for Nightwish. He was an amazing singer. He's almost like a Lord of the Rings character. He has his own kind of persona. He has his own personality, his own presence. And he left the band, and he had some of his own issues. We'll get into all that as well in future videos. But I just want to check this out because it sounds really cool. And it's really cool when people can just put the differences, you know, work them out, or just say, hey, you know, we had a friendship, or we had something. It meant something, you know, even maybe more than the music, you know. So it's cool. I like this kind of stuff. So let's check it out. And also, when I interviewed Rob Arnold, I told him about that. I said, I really respect and appreciate Chimera for that. You guys were able to just kind of say, we had a lot of stuff go down between all of us, but we managed to put it all aside and become friends again. And then the friendship led to them doing these big reunion gigs, which is awesome. Okay, let's check it out. So it's definitely not, doesn't seem metal, but it's not Nightwish, but it's cool music nonetheless. I'm pretty sure they're speaking or singing in Finnish, which my apologies, I've heard Finnish is a very, very difficult language to learn. I've heard that all the Scandinavian languages are, but that's just me. Wow, she has an amazing voice too. Okay, so You know, I have no idea what the hell they were singing about, but it sounded, you know, very joyous and uplifting. Great guitar solo. The guitar players looked like brothers. They had a cool little harmony part. The solo was cool. He had a great guitar tone. He did a couple of nice little sweep arpeggios. And it was great. For me, it was just, the woman who came out at the end was a wicked singer. She was an amazing singer as well. It was just nice, for still the little I know about Nightwish, to see the two of them together on stage. You know, the funny thing is, with a lot of bands, you kind of see what you're supposed to see. We don't always see all the negatives. Sometimes drama comes out through different means or whatever. But, you know, I've been in some bands where some friendships ended. And, you know, on my end, I wasn't always the best communicator. I had a very intense personality. I was very dedicated to my instrument and my craft. And I kind of expected, at the very least with musicians I played with, to keep band agreements. And when that would go south, you guys know what that's like. You're in a relationship or you know, or I shouldn't say a relationship, but you know when people get really comfortable in a situation and they kind of start letting their bad side come out? We've witnessed that probably maybe when we've worked with people, been in relationships, definitely in bands. I've seen that 150%. But, you know, I've also had situations where maybe there was some nastiness and then years later there's reconciliation and you're friends again. And it's nice. It's a good thing. And it was nice seeing it here because I know that was a very emotional time for the band in Tarje when she was let go. So I liked it. And also I'd like to comment on Marco's goatee, his beard. He almost looks like a character from Lord of the Rings. I think he likes wearing Affliction shirts. You know, I have a bunch of Affliction shirts. I like that brand. Sometimes when I go out and wear it, people are like, dude, are you still those are out, man. Why are you wearing those? But I like them. I don't really care what other people think either. But a few years back, anyway, I grew my goatee really long, and it didn't suit me. For you guys out there complaining about the weather, it's like freaking crazy cold here. Plus, it upset my mother. She was like, oh, Bri, you need to cut that. It looks awful. Tarje and Marco on stage again together. A bit of a happy ending there. Mind out of the gutter there, folks. And remember, folks, comment. Keep the comments and suggestions coming. Watch, like, subscribe to the channel. And also, if you want to support me on Patreon, that would be fantastic. Greatly, greatly appreciated. Remember, practice hard, practice smart, no excuses. We'll see you soon.